And I'm live. That is cool. So today is 17th of August, Sunday, 2025. And today, hopefully, I will complete all the 1300 rated questions in CP31. That would be cool. Let's see. CP31. Yesterday, Code Forces was down, so we had to delve into assembly. We had to change topics. So we did some assembly coding. Right here, assembly, a function to find if a given number is even or odd. This is actually cool. Let me show you. We can compile this using clang. First, we have to go to the folder where assembly is. Okay, science. Clang is even odd. Output dot slash out. What is the number? 789. This number. Let's see if it is even or odd. Apparently, it is even. And tmux kill server and start my tmux script and tmux attach target competitive programming cd into 1300 level, and also on this window cd into 1300 level, start new vim. And should this question I did yesterday in the stream, and when I went to submit this, Code Forces was down, so I did solve this question, which is Eliona, this one. Yep, and it was correct for all of these questions. Shit, is Code Forces down today also? That would be crazy. If Code Forces is down, then I would do need code. It is not down, so that is cool. And let me review the code for this. First, I would have to see the question, or maybe I could just look at what I did. Okay. In this question, I have been given n and h. I'm taking in two integers, n and h, and I'm creating a vector of integers a, then I'm taking all the a, then I create a multiset called nums, bool done, and I insert the current element into nums and minimum height. Okay, yes, it is about fridge. Yeah, it was the fridge question, and minimum height initially is 0. Wait, yes, for every new element of a that I add into a and put into the fridge, I am seeing, can I make the fridge work with this height? And I see here F means first. This is the, because I can put two bottles side by side, and if it is the first bottle that I am adding, then I have to increase the minimum height by the current height, which is going to be the maximum because I am traversing the nums multiset from R begin, that is the maximum, till R end, which is the minimum. And I go do this for all the current bottles. And after doing that, if the minimum height is greater than the allowed height, then I output I, which is the count for the, which is index for the current bottle, which I am unable to add. And since I is 0 indexed, therefore I is the amount of bottles that I have added till this point. But what if height is 0? Can height be 0? Height can be 1, and this can also be 1. So maybe in some case I done equals to true, and okay, this makes sense. If I just added one element to my multiset and then I came out, then it would, and still it is not done, then it depends. Yes, size of the multiset -1 makes sense. No, if multiset has all the elements. Size of the multiset -1. But what if multiset has all the elements? If it has all the elements, yep. so- Okay, nums dot size. If it equals 1, that is, I went out just at the first element. That would mean I wasn't able to add anything, 0. Otherwise, n. Why is this wrong? Incomplete operands nums dot size equals to 1. It's not done and nums dot size equals to 1. That is I. Wait, n can be equal to 1. N also can be equal to 1. Okay, n can be equal to 1. Shit, this is kind of tricky in that case. This would happen. Shit, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. I can just see out n. Because if I was unable to add any bottles, then I would be 0 and I would output 0. That makes sense. I only come out if there was a limit of bottles. That if I was able to add all the bottles, only that is the case. When I come out and done is still false. So copy everything and we will submit and we will see how that goes. I think this is going to work. And it seems like they didn't do a lot of things in code forces. Shit, why is that my YouTube chat is gone, which is crazy. Okay, I might have to hide my screen because I have to go and find my YouTube chat. Okay, you guys heard that. Analytics. Yep, that makes sense. Yep, makes sense. And I can now make it visible. Yep, cool. It is working. Cool. Let's see if this works. Okay, something is really bad with code forces. It just doesn't work no matter what. And the next question would be good array. Shit. Okay, that is a lot of time wasted on code forces. It just doesn't work. It takes up a lot of loading time, which is crazy. And I can review my solution. I'm taking in N and H. Okay, I would also like to delve into why this thing makes my code run faster. This thing, I think, cin, that is standard input, tie this with null pointer. And this thing, iOS input output stream iOS sync with standard input output false. I would have to go into why this works. I do not know myself. I would have to talk to ChatGPT or do some research. Okay, submit. Okay, cool. This should work. It should work and it does work. That is cool. That's cool. We can move on to the next one and I will start my stopwatch for this one. And I guess I don't remember correctly, but I guess I was able to do this in 15 minutes yesterday. I haven't made any changes from what I wrote yesterday. I did some some changes here, but I reverted them. This is the code that I wrote yesterday, and I guess it took me 15 minutes. And now on to this question, good array. And while I'm doing that, I can put this thing up because I will go into problem solving mode, whatever that is, and focus totally on to solving the problem. And now I only have 4 problems left at 1300 level. And when I'm done with that, I would like to review all the problems that I have been unable to do at previous level ratings. Like here, I wasn't able to do this one, move and turn. And yes, this problem, I think he will use dynamic programming. Yeah, and I will show you why I think that. And divisible pairs, I forgot what this problem even was. But there are problems on 1000 level, which I haven't done. And on 1100, there are 2 problems. And on 1200, there are 3 problems. And okay, after I'm done with all of these problems, I will go and complete all of them in today's stream. So I have to be fast, a bit fast. Cool. All other elements. The element, check the result, array good element into the array. Okay. I have to return the indices, right? 0 when there are no such elements. If there are no such elements, print 0, and otherwise the indices, this is cool. I can use a set, and is it given? Okay, they are not even test cases. And a size n, a in x. I have the array, and I would like to put this into a set or a multiset. A multiset. A multiset or a set, because the numbers can repeat. So if I can remove this single 2, I will have a total sum equals 0 and I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus ai, and sum plus p plus equals ai. I have the whole sum, and whenever I remove an element, I have to see the remaining sum if it was in the array. And for that, yeah, a set is cool. A set is cool. Insert ai, I less than n, I plus plus, bool p equals false. And now if s dot count if s dot count sum minus the current element, if it is there, then p equals true, and C out I plus 1 plus wait. That seems cool. Okay, and at the end, if not p, then C out 0, and at the very end, C out a new line. Let's see, and that is wrong apparently, because I say 0, 415. Sum minus AI, right? And S has all the if count. Yes, if count. No shit, I also have to remove that. Makes sense, makes sense. This thing divided by 2. Okay, okay. When I subtract 2, the total sum initially was 5, 12. When I subtracted 2, 10, 10 by 2, 5. Okay, the division is at the wrong place. One, 3, 4, 5. Why 3? If I remove 1, 11, 5 makes sense, but it has to be even. Okay. This will just take the ceiling, right? This would be sum minus AI. If I do this, and then I have to check if SS remainder 2, if S has to be odd, SS has to be even. If not, this, if so this confirms that it is even, and if it is even, I would like to see if it is present in my set. As dot count SS by 2, right? If SS by 2 is, then do this. Okay, that is much better. And seems like I would have to store this in an array, and I can return output the answer in any order. In any order. Okay, makes sense. So response, and instead of doing this, pushback I plus 1, right? And I don't need this, therefore if rest dot size, if it is something other than 0, then I equal 0, I less than rest dot size I plus plus C out res I and space or a new line, depending, if I equal res dot size -1. And before this, cout rest dot size with a new line, and if that is not the case, then output 0. If that is correct, and that is correct, and that is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong. I say I can remove the fourth index, which is number 4. If I remove number 4, the total sum is even. If I remove 4, 8, I also have to, right, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. It cannot be equal to the number that I just removed. That makes total sense. So the test case is cool. But what if it is appearing multiple number of times? I can remove and insert. Yes, if it is appearing multiple number of times, then I have to do something. I can use a multiset and remove one occurrence of that element to be even. Okay, the only problem is if the number that I removed equals half of the remaining sum. In that case also, this would be true, but I do not want that to be true. So I can directly check if the number that I removed is equal to it. But how about sorting? If I sort, that would still be the same thing. This approach is better, I think. And I have to see, but what if the number that I just removed has multiple appearances? In that case, if I had multiple 4s, if I did have multiple 4s, then total sum -4, I would have all the other occurrences remaining. I can replace those 2 2s with a 4, and then the answer would be correct. Okay, so I need to take care of I need to take care of that. Okay, makes sense, of how many numbers there are, and if that is the case, then I cannot use a set. And if that is the case, then I would like to use a multi-set. Insert all of these elements. I will have multiple copies of these elements, and when I see, okay, when I see that I do have this number, let's call it auto it equals to, okay, I cannot use this as a condition, and auto it equals s dot find s by 2, and I have to see that this thing does not equal to the array, or not s dot find, but not just upper bound, lower bound. Find the lower bound and to see it cannot be equal to the last element, and if go to it, if it isn't equal to s dot end, it cannot be equal to the last element. That is, I do have an iterator to a number that I was looking for, and if I do have it, I have to make sure that this does not point to the number that I removed from the set. For that, I have to see, right, if go to it, if it equals ai, the number that I just removed, if it is equal, I want to make sure that it plus 1 also equals to this number. That would be go to it, go to it plus 1. This thing equals ai. But if it is not equal, then just 2. Because this is a set, I cannot do this. Okay. If it does not end, okay. To revise, I'm going through the thing and the current sum minus ss, and if it is even, taking and with 1. If it is even, then find a lower bound to the iterator and first see if it is not equal to the last element. Okay, and if it is not equal to the last element, then I found a iterator to a number that I was looking for, and then check if the current number that I got, is it equal to the last number? Is it equal to the number that I just removed? And if it is, question mark, if it is, then go to the number after it and make sure that I have 2 copies of this number, at least one more copy of this number that I just removed, right? And if it is not equal to that, then just prove it should work. Shit, I removed the test case, which is shit. Shit, I removed the test case, which is horrible. Well, I can check it manually. It's called C good array out, and the third one is 1 4, which is wrong. 1 4 is wrong. 1 4 is wrong. 1 4 is wrong. I shouldn't be getting 1 4 because I'm stupid. Yes, shit. Pre-increment. This has to be pre-increment. And now copy the thing. I should see a 0, which I do. So that is cool. That's cool. I can submit now. This has taken me longer than it should have. And okay, wrong answer. Okay. Why? Where did I go wrong? N, I'm taking in n number array sum multiset. Maybe I'm messing up. Maybe I'm messing up with the index. The next, the way that I'm doing this thing might be the problem. This thing. I'm always checking if the next one equals to that. And if I always have at least two copies, then it should return true for both of them, which I can actually check. If I do this and 5, and I do 4, 1, 4, 3, I should get 1 and 3. Okay, my bad, I said 5, 4, 4, 1, 4, 3. I should see 1 and 3. 1 and 3. That is cool. So that should not be the problem. If I do have, okay, from the start, result, I am iterating through A. If I remove the current A number, right, then this is the SS that I want to make sure does exist there. And it has to be even because I am looking for an 0. No, I will not have 0 because I'm looking for a number which equals the sum of the remaining numbers. So therefore, this total sum, which also includes the number itself, should be even. And if it is even, then I'm checking, I'm finding a iterator to the number that I am looking for. Once I make sure that SS is even, then I'm looking for a lower bound. And if I do find a lower bound in my multiset, that is, the iterator is not equal to the last element. Okay, iterator is not equal to the last element. Then I'm checking this thing. I might actually be moving past the last element here, and that would be undefined behavior. This part is tricky. I'm making sure that there are at least two copies of this number. Okay, so I do IT++. IT++ is not equal to s dot end and go to, wait, is not equal to, and go to IT should be equal to AI. That makes sense. Plus plus IT, the next element, the next iterator is not the last one. All right, and its value, if it is not the last one, then this only then, otherwise true. If this is not equal to AI, and I do find it in the set. Okay, cool. Would this work? I think it should work. Let's see. Yo, hello. Okay, okay. There is some edge case. I do not want to look at the wrong test case because that does not, wait, that means there is some technical error. Okay, fuck, shit. Okay. Before, like a couple of days ago, I had here something like this: define int as long, so that whenever I use int, I am using it as a long. But I removed that because I wanted finer control over the variables, and therefore I'm getting shit. This is very stupid. I knew beforehand that I'm summing a lot of numbers, therefore this should be long. Okay, so this will not overflow. That is the only place that I'm summing, and therefore this thing could also be big. So do this, and all of that seems cool. I'm not doing any crazy addition. Shit. Shit. Now it should work. That is even crazier. I only changed int to long long. And now I'm getting the wrong answer on test 6. This is messed up. Shit, that is the only change that I made, and still it does not work. It was working just fine on the 7th case, but now it is not. And I only got integer overflow in this case, but no integer overflow in the next one. Like here it was fine. I just got a wrong answer. That was the only problem there. Auto iterator s by 2 after making sure s is even. S would only be even if the last bit is equal to 1, and yes, this would only be even if the last bit of SS is equal to 1. If it is equal to 0, and when I take AND of 0 and 1, I will get a 0, and not of 0 is true, it is 1. So if SS is even, I can divide it by 2, find the lower bound, smallest number that is equal to SS by 2. This is the only change that I made, and somehow long in, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. Long int is the same as long equals 0. Long sum, add stuff to the sum, insert things into the set. Wait, what is the biggest value? Shit, I'm taking a lot of time on this one. Shit, that is a lot of time. I will have to be much more focused in the next one. Hi, hello, Brody. I don't know what you're trying to say. You seem to be lucky. And code forces, as always, is not very responsive. A vector of integer. So I am thinking maybe individual elements in AI could be very big. And if that is the case, no, they are not very big. This is completely fine. This thing is completely fine. This can fit inside an integer. AI can fit inside an integer. I take AI, right, and I add it to the sum and I insert it into the multi-set which I have created, and a vector of for the answer of response. If int I equals, then start iterating for every element in AI. SS equals sum minus AI, right? And then see if SS is even. If it is even, find a iterator to it, and if iterator is not equal to the end, that is I do have some value, that is SS divided by 2 does exist in my multiset, and if it does, then see, is it equal to AI? Is it equal to AI? And if it is equal to the element that I just removed, I want to make sure, what if I want to make, okay, I think I can remove this step here. Okay, yep, remove paste. This is undefined behavior because I do not know if IT points to the last element, and if it does point to the last element, then pre-incrementing the iterator would take me to s dot end, and then I'm dereferencing that end part and checking its value with something else, which is crazy. It should not happen. Let's see. This is undefined behavior. This can easily result in undefined behavior. Shit. It keeps on running on test 5. Okay, now I think I can look at the answer. Not the answer, but the test case in which I got the wrong answer. Answer is 0 somehow. Ans Answer is 0, but my answer is a lot of numbers due to some reason. All of these indexes. But the only difference between this code, eh, wrong answer. The index one isn't nice. Wait, this does not make sense. Lower bound, lower bound. S dot lower bound. Right. And then go to the next element and see if the current element equals AI if the iterator. I got an iterator to SS by 2, and if it equals AI, then I need to see there are other copies of AI, and there would be other copies of AI at the next part. Okay, this is not cool. This is not cool. First, I have to make sure plus plus IT isn't equal to S dot end, and only then I check go to IT equals AI. Flag dot slash out for 4 4 1 4 3, and this should output 1 3. It does output 1 3. I want to get this right, but I cannot. 30 minutes is a very long time. 30 minutes is a lot of time. That is crazy. Hello. How to start with CP? I am in new here. Any resources? Yep, you can start doing this thing that I'm doing. CS CP31. This is a good thing. You can start solving questions from 800 rating. That is how I started. And you have to practice so that you don't get wrong answer. Shit. Here is the link. You can solve this. Okay, I am saying that a lot of numbers like this exist. Why am I saying that? Why do I say that? The only change that I made is I changed long long. I changed sum to long long. Is there something in the problem statement that I'm missing? Everything else is fine, completely same. Even changing to long long shouldn't be any problem, so it shouldn't cause any problem. And it is starting at 0 plus plus IT. All right. iterator cannot be equal to end, and after that go to the iterator and make sure if it is equal to the element that I just removed, then check this whole thing. This would only be true when I am not at the second last. If I'm not at the second last number, and if I'm not at the second last number, then see, if I'm not at the last number, then check is the number next, which comes next. It has to be equal to AI. The next number has to be equal to AI. Wait, when I do this, earlier I was getting the right answer for 6. Why was for 6? Why was that? Strange. I was using integer and I was checking if this is equal to this, then yes, then the iterator cannot be equal to that, and then same thing. This is the same thing, and this is the only change that I made, and now everything seems to be cool somehow. Sum plus equals. This thing is not making any sense. If I do this, okay, right now it is more about experimenting and playing around and seeing what the things are, how they are working, which is cool. See, now test 6 magically works, but I'm getting a wrong answer on 7. And on the 6th one, I'm getting the right answer. And I simply changed sum from long to an integer. Why is that making any changes? Because earlier I was doing overflow. There are a lot of copies for this. There are a lot of copies for the same number, and when I do their summation, I'm adding them to a multiset, and when I do their summation, I will get a very long sum, right? And if it does overflow, but I'm not getting overflow error, I'm getting this error. My output is I can add every number except except two numbers, whatever they are. So something bad is happening. What do I do here? I am doing sum minus this. Even though I'm adding every single element to the sum, it somehow equals to this. This does not make sense. S divided by 2. Clang. Let's smash out. If I have 5 elements, let's say 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 0 makes sense. I cannot see the last element because that comes really after, right? It has a lot of elements before. Am I messing up the set? Here I'm saying I can remove this. I can remove any of these elements, which is crazy. I shouldn't be able to do that. Integer overflow somehow it says, right? Integer overflow. Okay, I can convert that into a long, but then I do get another error. multiset of integers is fine because I can store values for all of these numbers. Question number this. So are you from any NIT? Nope. I am from a tier 3 college near my house. I don't even go to the college. And if you are even there, it will look like this. Shit. Okay, independently, you have to consider all removals independently. That is removing the element. Check if the resulting array is good and return the element in the array. Nice. Okay. In this case, this index is nice, the one at 4, and this index is nice. Why am I adding everything to the response thing? Long, this shouldn't cause any problem, but it is somehow shit. Is it because shit. This could actually be the case because my multiset is for integers and I am looking for long. Now my sum is a long and my multiset is also of long 64-bit integers, and inside here I am finding a lower bound for a long, which is cool. Okay, this makes sense, I think, because if this were a long, then this must be reduced into an integer when I'm looking for it in my multiset, and that I think causes problems. Okay, would because normally the data type which is smaller is implicitly converted into a data type that takes more memory. That is something like an integer will be converted into something like a long. Int takes up 32 bits and long takes up 64 bits. So normally a integer would be uplifted into a long to be compared, but here I have a single long and a bunch of integers, so I think the reverse should happen. And I think this should work. This should actually work. And this is very embarrassing because I have not been able to do this. This has taken a lot of time. 42 minutes is a long time. Okay, that is cool. That is cool. Or is it cool? Okay, it is not cool. Apparently, it is not cool for test number 15. Long. Okay, long is cool. Something doesn't add up here. Okay, makes no, does not make sense. Does not make sense because I am only adding AI. So this does not make sense, and I think I should look at the test case, which I got the wrong answer. That is very stupid shit. Only two numbers and this. Answer is 0, which it should be, and but instead I'm saying I can remove the second number somehow. Okay, is this the change that they made? They say instead of wrong, they say it isn't nice. Okay, here the total sum would be 9, and when I remove 5, the total sum would be 4. And then I would look for something like 2 because the remaining sum SS would be equal to 4, which is even. Then I look for something like this. right? I'm looking for 2, but 2 does not exist in my multiset. So therefore, I should get SS equals S end. Shit. Clang plus plus, C good, compile, not slash out, run 2, 4, 5. I do say 1. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is actually crazy. Why do I say 1? See out whatever the value is at the iterator. 2, 4, 5. 4. Shit. Okay. 4. It is not equal. Okay, okay, okay. I have to make sure that it is not equal to the last element, and also it is not equal to, what is it? The first element that is not, makes sense. This makes sense. But this does not make sense. Okay, shit. So that would mean that this thing does not add up. Because I would always return something. Okay, I can do this. This is fine. But also, I have to see if the number that I got at the iterator, it has to be equal to S divided by 2. Right? This thing, I'm checking if it is equal to the number that I just removed. Also, I have to make sure that the number I have gotten at the iterator, right? If I got 4, if I got 4, because 4 was even, and I outputted 5, makes sense, makes sense. So I have to make sure the number at the iterator equals SS by 2 after making sure that it is not equal to the end, it is not past the thing. And a go to IT equals SS by 2. It has to be equal to that. Now compile and run correctly. 4, 2, 4, 5, and 0 is cool. 0 is cool. So this is a very hackish way to do this. And I totally wouldn't be acting like this if I were giving a actual contest. And which year? Third year. Just got into my third year. So you are inspiration for us. How many hours do you put every day? And also how many questions you try to solve every day? Every day the target is at least 5. Yeah, at least 5. And then read theory. For theory, I have this book, Competitive Programmer's Handbook. And about how many hours I try to, not enough hours. Accepted. 48 minutes is a very long time. Shit. And in this website, you can take notes. And in those notes, I am writing how much time it takes me to solve questions so that when I practice them again, when I'm solving them again, I can compare how much I have grown, which is cool. And study yourself. Is this NeoVim, bro? It is so hard to code in it. Well, if you are starting with NeoVim, it is very hard. It is very hard to start with NeoVim. But if you are going to start with NeoVim, understanding Vim, you can watch this series. This series by Viro. He is a pretty nice guy, and I watched this series like 3 times, and then I started to understand what Vim is about, Vim's configuration and everything. You can watch this to understand how Vim configuration works and how Vim works, how you can use Vim. You can watch the Primeagen, this series, Vim as your editor. This is nice. You can watch this. Which year? Third year. Also, I am going to join a tier 3 college in a week. Tell me a perfect roadmap of first year, that how much should I achieve till the end of the first year? Well, you are just starting out, so doing anything would be good for you. And if you are just starting out, I would like to suggest this thing, CS50. This is the best thing you can do as a beginner. CS50. This is a program, free course by Harvard, just completely free. You can just go and do this, and they offer multiple things, but you should do this one, Introduction to Computer Science. They also have a course on artificial intelligence, on Python, on cybersecurity. This is the one that I took, Introduction to Computer Science, and it is pretty cool. It has 12 weeks, 12 lectures, one lecture for each week, and then there are problem sets. This is pretty cool. And you can take this course in Hindi, that you can in Turkey, in Portuguese, in Deutsch, if you can speak German. So that is cool. You can do that. And shit, I had this up the whole time, which is crazy. And now I will move on to the next question. Reset my timer. Okay. This question took me longer than it should have. Therefore, for this next question, I'm going to completely focused to reach 1300. 2 months. It took me 49 streams. In my first stream, I was struggling to submit my solution, which is crazy. But yeah, so this is like in part one, I didn't know how to do competitive programming. I was a newbie to competitive programming. Should I do DSA or dev? Well, as you are a beginner, you just choose one thing and do it. Right? You like, yeah, you are a beginner, so you don't know much. So you should just choose anything and do it. And as I said, you should do CS50, the course that I just recommended. That would be pretty cool for a beginner. And I would say DSA, if you can do DSA, because studying DSA is much more difficult than development. And if you can, but you are in your first year, right? For the first year, you can do a lot of experiments. You can get into DSA. You can do a little bit of everything, a little bit of AI, a little bit of DSA and dev and stuff like that. That is cool. You should get into as many things as you can, into cryptology, maybe, into mathematics, quantum mechanics, black holes, everything. Now, I want to solve this question in under 15 minutes. So I will go into focus mode, whatever that is. Shit. Mhm. Okay. No loops. Okay. Shit, I'm not very good at with graphs. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Okay. Shit. No, 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 no. I will not be able to tell you. They are only appearing in order. है, उसका तो था। So, okay, so the thing that I'm struggling with right now is how do I know which node is on which side of this bipartite graph? If I can just figure that out, it would be cool. Is a tree. I have to use this fact. If the given graph is the tree, then how do I know the different edges as bipartite? I only need to know just the size of each bipartite group. Yes, that is the only thing that I need to know. The size, and if given an element, which group does it belong to, which essentially means I need to create two sets, one of left elements and one of right elements. But how do I know which number belongs where? Bipartite. And it is a tree. And it is a tree. So I can reach every node from every other node either directly or indirectly, and there are n minus 1 things. So when I get an input, get two numbers like 1 and 2, I either put this one in the left and this one on the right, or I do the opposite, this one on the right and this one on the left. Those are the only two options I have, and I cannot directly do it because I need future knowledge to do that, to be sure. Yep. So I need to store the data and then do some lookups, or maybe I do add these things, and whenever I see a number, let's say 1 2, then I add this one 4 3, and then I see 2 and 3. I see 2 is here and 3 is also on the same side, right? Then I reverse these two, but then that could mess up other things. Here the sample size is small, that is why I can just fix this by swapping these two or these two. Or wait, let's say I do have something like this. One, I have a bunch of numbers, x1, x2, x3, x4, a bunch of numbers, and my default behavior would be to add x1 to the left set and x2 to the right set, to the left and to the right. And right now I am theorizing, I'm just doing research thing. And right, and let's say I keep doing this process, and either I add them as they are or I don't. Right. Right. So at some point I cannot add the elements as they are given, left one to the left and right one to the right, because I might find that both of these elements are on the same side. Right. And if they are on the same side, can I swap them, and would that not cause problems? That could cause problems. Yep, that could cause problems. But the thing is that up until that point, everything was good. And if I swap this, yep, that could cause problems. Because if I swap, then this and this, which apparently are connected in this test case, they would end up on the same side, which is problematic. So I only swap the pair which is connected only to themselves. Nope. Okay, so I guess I would have to look up the algorithm. I will not look at the answer. I know which part I am missing, so I can simply look that part up. Does intelligence makes you handicap? Because UM does have that feature by def no, it does not have that feature. You have to add it. It is called LSP. Number of questions required to reach pupil. I wouldn't know. Yo, hello. You just have pupil is not very hard to reach, it seems to me. You just have to be fine at problem solving. Problem solving is the main thing. If you, because questions to reach the pupil level are not that DSA dependent, they are more programming dependent. And the thing that I have to look up is given edges of a bipartite tree, how to divide it, because I do not have to derive algorithms. DFS, huh? To divide a given bipartite tree into two distinct sets partitions, one can utilize a graph traversal algorithm such as BFS or DFS. The inherent property of a bipartite graph, including a bipartite. Wait. Mm, The inherent property of a bipartite graph, including a bipartite tree, is that its vertices can be partitioned into two disjoint sets U and V. So if I have a vector of vectors and at each index, the vector that it stores the nodes that it is connected to, then all of these nodes belong to the other set. I can add this one to one set and all of these to other sets, and then I know I can traverse for each of these, do the same thing for each of these, and add all of the elements that these are connected to into the other set. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And let's do that. Let's do that. In which case I would not need this. Just take L and R. I can remove this. Do I want to remove left and right? Nope. I would like to keep left and right, but later they will come later. And right now I have a vector of vectors called data of size n of vectors and not n but n plus 1. Does that make sense? Yep, it does. And whenever I see something in data L dot, it is not a set. It is not a set. Yep, it is not a set. It is a vector. Pushback R, and for data R, pushback L, So now after this, I will have my data, and then I would like to traverse int I equals 0, I less than n minus n I plus plus, and if the current number that I am at, right, if this is not in left and not in right, if left dot count ai, what is ai? I less than equal to n, and the nodes start from 1 to n, and if the current one, if not left and also not right dot count, then wait, how would I even know which set does this belong to? If I'm not seeing it for the first time, so that is one thing. I don't even have to do this actually. If I'm going for a DFS and the first node, it has to be connected to something, the first node, and from there I will keep alternating. Okay. Bool part equals C left equals true, and then I will start. I will first of all left dot insert one. Right. One is on the left, and then for the elements that are into one, for auto x that are into one, data one, right dot insert x, right dot insert x. I have two things, and now I need to repeat this. Repeat. Well, actually, the first thing seemed to be pretty better than this. No. My data looks like this, something like this. A vector of vectors. I add this to the left one and all of these to the right one, and then I traverse with these. Then I go to the indexes of all of these wherever they are and add all of those elements to the left, and I traverse through all the elements which are connected to these, and I add them to the right, and I do this till every single element is covered, for which I have to be smart. If I have to be a bit smart, I need to decide how low I am going to go. And since there is this thing about left and right, void append takes the next step of integers. Let's call it S, and vector, and all of these are references. V, and just that. For auto x, V s dot insert x, which is left dot insert 1 and append onto right data 1, and then for int I equals 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus, if left dot count I, if left is and I, if I is on the left side, then append onto the right data I. If right dot count I, if it is on the I, then right, then append left data I. I think that time complexity is going to be very bad for this one. But does this guarantee to give me all the elements? I think it will. I think it should. But there will be cases when I encounter an element which has not been connected to any of the array till now. And if that happens, then it will be covered by some element because every element is connected to every other element. So that is cool. That is cool. And what is the time complexity for this? Let's n should not be much. Okay, after this, I will have to go through the array again. Yes, it. Print I equals 1, I less than equal to n, and I plus plus. Int or maybe long answer equals int will do. Int is completely fine, and if it is on the left, if left dot count I, if I is on the left, then sum plus equals how many numbers are on the right, right dot minus how many are already connected to I, which would be data I dot size. Okay, sum is nothing, it is answer. Else if right count for I, then answer plus equals left dot size, how many numbers are on the left side, and data I dot size. Output answer, and I think there should be some better method to get this right, or at least not cause segmentation fault. Yes, it would cause segmentation fault because this. ABI, application binary interface, that is crazy. Okay, wrong answer. 4. I say 4. Why do I say that? Left 1 2 3 4 5. 1 connected to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Okay. 1 to 2. Therefore, I would have something like this. 1 2 3 4, and this is a vector on vector. 1 is connected to 2, 2 is connected to 3, 3 is connected to 4, 4 is connected to 5, and 5 is in turn back connected to 4. 3 is to 4, and 4 is also connected to 3. 5 is only connected to 4, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 3 and 3 to 4, therefore 2, and 2 is connected to 1 and 3, therefore this, and 1 is only connected to this. Okay, so I would have on the left set I would have a 1, and on the right set I would have a 2. Then I would see 2 is which set is 2, and 2 would be in the right set, therefore I would add 3 and 1 to the left set. Well, 1 is already added, so it doesn't matter. Then I will go and I will see that 3 is here. Yep, 3 is on the left set, so everything in 3 goes to the right set, which is 4, and 2 is already there. Then I go and see 4. 4 is on the right side, so everything in 4 goes to left, which is 5, and then 5, 4, 5 is on the left, so 4 goes to right, which it already is there. And 1 is connected to only one number, so 1 can be connected to this 4, extra 4, so plus 1 for that. Then I see 2. 2 is connected to two numbers. It can be connected to 5 also. So plus 1 for that. Then I go to 3 and I see that 3 is connected to 4 and 2 already. Right, so 0. I cannot add any more connections to 3. And 4 is connected to 3 and 5. 3 and 5. It can be connected to 1. So plus 1 for that. And then 5 is connected to only this 4. So 5 can be connected to 2. Plus 1 for that. Answer should be 4, but it is 2. Why did I say 2 earlier? Because I'm making connections twice. Okay, makes sense. Makes so much sense. Answer divided by 2 because I am adding the same number of edges twice. Makes sense. Divided by 2. 0 by 0 is still 0 and 4 by 0 is 2, which is correct. And the only thing that I am worried about here is the time complexity. It might be too high. We will see. Hello. Solve a good problem on CP. Yo. Okay. I will be right back. I have to go to the washroom. And yep, I'll be right back. Just in a minute. You. I'm back, which is cool. Okay. Wrong answer on test number 4. And it might be because wrong answer. Wrong answer is something that I didn't expect. Time limit exceeded was something that I was expecting, but not wrong answer. And this suggests that I should read about graphs. There is a lot of things about graphs in this book. Starting from page number 107, there to 195, it is just graphs. And okay, there is terminology graph representation, DFS, BFS applications, shortest path, tree algorithm, spanning trees, directed graphs, strongly connected tree queries, path and circuits, flow and cuts. Okay, but I will read about that later. Right now, I have to solve this question. I think it is fair to look at the test case in which I got the wrong answer because I have not read anything about graphs. Output is 1, but the answer is 60. Okay. Simulation time. We will simulate. Yes. We have 7 on one side and we can go from there. 7 on one side and 6 on one side. They are connected. Then we have 7 connected to 2. Okay. Then we can go to 2 where 7 is also connected to 8. 7 is also connected to 8, which should therefore be on the other side. And we can see who is 6 connected to. 6 is not connected to anything. 2 is not connected to anything else. 8 is connected to 5, so we added 5. Then 5 is connected to 3. Then 3 is not connected to anything else, and 5 is also not connected to anything else. Just 8 and itself. And now it is crazy. It means that no, 8 is also connected to 10. 8 is also connected to 10. And 8 is connected to 10, and 10 is connected to 4, which should be on the same side as this. So this thing is done, this thing is done, this is done, this is done. 9 and 4, 9 on this side, 4 done. 8 and 5, okay, they are also connected. And we also had 7 and 8, okay, and 4 and 1, therefore 1 will be on this side, then 2 and 7, and then 7 and 6, okay. The new nodes I can connect is one here, one here. The main problem in this is the fact that I am unable to complete my set, right? So this is crazy. While left dot size plus right dot size lower than n. Now this thing is actually crazy. Slash out, and the question is this one. This should output 16, or it might not output anything at all. Okay, I will write the thing manually. 10 and then 7, 6, 2, 7. I can do better. Right. 10, then 7, 6, 2, 7, 4, 1, 8, 5, 9, 4, 5. I'm not even taking all of the inputs. Huh? Less than n minus 1. I'm not even taking all of the inputs. I took in 10 and then I stopped in the middle. Bipartite graphs. 10, 7, 6, 2, 7, 4, 1, 8, 5, 9, 4. Okay, now we're good. 5, 3, 8, 7, 10, 8, 10, 4, 16. That is cool. That is correct. And time complexity is the only thing that I am worrying about in this one. And probably this will give me error and time complexity, time limit exceeded, TLE error at some point in one of the test cases. The wrong answer is something that I was not expecting. Okay, shit. Okay. Wait, no. There is a lot of edges and okay, okay. Long and shit. Okay. L answer. Answer has to be big. Answer has to be big. And is there anything else that I would like to be big? Nope. Crazy. And TLE error. Yep. TLE error on test number 17. Because the way that I am traversing is very stupid. And since this is a learning moment, I can go to Chat GPT actually and do stuff. And yep, help and better my improve my implementation of this. Given edges of a bipartite tree, how can I divide the nodes into the left and right sets? Thinking longer for a better answer. That is cool. You say two coloring via BFS tree has no cycles, so assigning alternating colors by depth cleanly splits the vertices. Idea: pick any node as root. Pick any node as root, put it in the left color 0, do a BFS or DFS whenever you travel an edge. Okay, okay, let's try to implement BFS or DFS. My main target is to fill these two sets left and right so that the left one has stuff on the left and the right one has stuff on the right. Let's remove all of this. No, this much. This is cool. This is cool because this is linear time. This is cool. But the other stuff is not cool. So I need to write a function actually. Let's call it fill and it will take set of an integer left and set of integers right and the data, which is vector, vector, and vector called d. And these will be references because I do not want to copy. I would like a move operator instead. And given this, I need to start filling. So DFS, I can take one as node, one as one thing, and then bool is left equals true. Therefore, left dot insert one. Let's say node one is on the left Then I would like to start a for loop. Now, it would be actually cool to have this is left. Now is left and current C. So if is left, then left dot insert. Before that, I have to see has this one been already added. If is left, and if it is left, then see if left dot count for C, if it has already been, or if no count, if it hasn't been added, then left dot insert C into it and call the fill function on left, right, and then iterate through all the elements inside left. So for auto X in data C, fill left, right, D, not is left, and current is X. Reference overload. For in I equals 0, I less than. Okay, shit, makes sense. Because it is not D, it is data. It is not data, it is D. Makes sense. If this is a part of the left thing, then see if it does not exist in the left. If it does not, then add this number onto the left side, and for every subsequent number inside it, add it to the right side. Makes sense. I can explicitly write false there because I am adding to the right always. And now if it does exist, then if it already is in the thing, then I still would have to go. It is acyclic, so it is cool. I don't even have to check this. It is acyclic. Like at some point this would end. Else right dot insert C, and for int x d c, fill left, right, d through x. And what is this? This seems like DFS. This is DFS. This is DFS. This should work. This should work. So I can call the fill function with the left, right, data, true, current is 1. Hmm. Hmm. Segmentation fault. Okay. That is bad. Segmentation fault is bad. Left, right. Am I going out of bounds? No. Nope. I am not going out of bounds. Nope. Set int left and right and the data and bool is left. If it is left, then insert the current element into the left element and fill left right with this data false. That is on the right, this X element. Add this X element and X element is connected to DC, to the current element, to the current node. Segmentation fault. No, one is at least connected to something, so that would not be the case. Is true. Okay, which part is giving the segmentation fault? See out high. Line plus plus B Mahmood and stuff. Run it for 3, 1, 2, right? 3, 1 connected to 2 and 1 connected to 3. Okay, so segmentation fault is before this thing, it is in the fill function. Makes sense. I'm taking in set left and right as a reference and then a vector of vectors, which is a matrix called E and a boolean called is left and C, and the only time that I'm going inside is this C. So C always has to be in range, and it is in range because I'm getting this C from here from the function input. Yes, from the function input. And whenever I'm subsequently calling left, the X that I have is from my data array. So this should also work, but it doesn't. Okay, shit. Okay, 56 minutes. That is a lot of time. That is a lot of time. Okay, I can go to the next question. For now, average sleep time. That would be cool. You can use BFS. Bro, since it is a tree, then don't you think so that even level and odd level elements belong to different sets? Even level and odd level elements. And so you just need to count at even or odd level. Okay, even and odd level belong to different sets. That makes sense. I am indicating that by this thing is left, right? Because every time I am changing it, if it is true, then false, and if it is false, then true. And to be honest, I do not know about graph traversal. I have not done graph traversal. I can take any node as the root and then traverse through all of them and add them to the other thing. That is what I'm doing. Right. This is the current node C that I am at. If it is supposed to be on the left, then add it to the left. And every node that this is connected to, add it to the right. Makes sense. And else, if it is supposed to be inserted on the right, then insert C on the right and traverse through every node that is connected to C and add that to the left. Seems like this is correct. If you don't know BFS or DFS, then this question will be hard for you. Yes, it seems like. I mean, I know it conceptually, but I have not like worked with it too much. But this thing seems correct to me. I am calling this function with two sets, left and right, as a reference, and a vector of data and a vector of data if is left and if not. And why am I getting segmentation fault? Data is of n+1 size. That is also cool. That shouldn't do anything bad. Data is cool. We can see if data is cool. Data should be cool because I've not done any changes on data. So data is cool. Data is not wrong. And then set, the way that I am filling this set. Initially, I am adding element number 1 on to the left side. What what is this? What is this? No, this is fine. 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 I goes from 0 till n-1. This is fine. And I am taking in this thing, and on the left, push back right. On the right, push back left, so that these two are now connected. Okay, how many times am I calling this thing? Uh, Plan dot slash out. 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. I am calling it a lot of times. That is crazy. Segmentation fault. Okay. So this has, but this is not cyclic, so this should not happen. Right? This is not cyclic, so this should not happen. This should not happen. Auto X in data, out X, and remove this thing. What was the input? 3, 1 connected to 2, 1 connected to 3. Here is data empty. I'm calling this before the fill function. So why error? 3, 1 connected to 2, 1 connected to 3. Okay, data is of size n+1. That is the size. There shouldn't be any difference in this. 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. My bad. Doesn't work. N+1 data is of size n+1. It has n+1 vectors of integers inside, right? And it is a vector of integers. And why can I not output this thing? Line dot slash out 31213. Okay. Yes. 1213. I should see the H now. 31213. I do not. That is because there is no new line. 31213. Okay, the I is there now. Do I see it after this? 31213. Okay, it is still there. So we are able to at least get the data, and then three elements, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, so traversing the data is wrong. I'm not traversing it in the correct way. Vector of integers and initialize it to empty so that it has nothing. No. Let's see what is the size for this thing. Data dot size, it will be n+1, but data dot no, for data 0 there is nothing. Yep, there is nothing. Data 0 dot size, and I am expecting 0. 0, that is cool. That is for 3. I'm expecting 1. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, that is cool. Then what is the problem with this part? Shit. Okay. 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. Okay, I do not see anything, so that is wrong. If I do for int I equals 0, I less than n, less than equal to n I plus plus, because the size of data is n+1, right? Makes sense. And then I see out data I dot size. I'm just checking if I am at least able to traverse. And what do I expect? I expect to see 0 to 1 1. 0 to 1 1. Okay, cool. So that is cool. But if I remove this part, apparently, then I run into some errors. I do. Why is it the way that I'm doing this? Shit. Okay, shit. This. Why is this the old one? I thought I updated this. Yep, this is the new one. This is the new one. This should be the one there. Is it not here? Shit, it is not here. Okay, my bad. Copy this whole thing, yank and sick paste. And if my intuition is correct now, then for vector int, let's say a reference x, if I traverse like that into data and do cout x, then I should see the data 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, which I do empty, empty, empty 2, 3, and the second one is connected to 1. First one is connected to 2 and 3, second one is connected to 1, the third one is connected to 1. Cool. And I'm getting a segmentation fault later in this thing because at some point I am traversing, I'm looking for elements in 0 or something equivalent. Doesn't make sense. It's been 2 hours and 14 minutes and okay, I can stop working on this one. I should move on to the next question and I can review this one later. So for now, next question. Next question, which isn't even loading. This should work. Why is this not working? Set left, right. Am I doing something bad at some point? I'm just giving it C. Is this iteration bad? Does it have a 0 at some point? Nope. Okay, cool. Problem is here. And I can go into the problem solving mode, whatever that is, and cool. Mm, 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 mm. O- Okay, point. Okay, okay, floating, floating. upper bound. Okay, this one does not seem that hard, but given the last few questions, I cannot say that. Less than n minus plus. So why do I have why is it n minus k plus 1 weeks? K consecutive days as a week. Okay, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Right. Makes sense. Okay, okay, okay. K consecutive days as weeks. So this thing is shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, K is always lower than that, so that is cool. That's I think this should work. Initial average is the number of days he slept in the first week, and count is 1. Then, whenever I have a new sum, I get the new sum by removing the last number and adding the current number, and average would be equal to average multiplied by the numbers with which I have taken average, but this part might cause problem. Mm. Big double C plus B. Is there something bigger than double? And double takes 64 bits. Yeah, so it is the biggest. So yeah, it should work. 64 bits. How much precision does it give me? Okay. This formula is correct at least, right? Average into count till now, plus the current sum and take its average by this thing. Okay. Shit. Shit. Why do I have strange because I do not have to output everything. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. How do I select how much I want to output? How to select decimal places in C++ to output. If I have a number like this, which is double, then default, and then fixed set precision to two decimal places, and okay, this thing fixed, and after that set precision. Okay, so I have to first output fixed, something called fixed, and then set precision 6. Okay, so fixed, set precision 6. That should work. No, it is not. Hey, does not exceed 10 power. The answer is considered to be correct if the absolute or relative value or relative error does not exceed this 10 power minus 6. In particular, it is enough to output real numbers with at least. Okay, so this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Standard output till 614. This is cool. This should work. The formula seems correct. And also the way that I'm outputting also seems correct. And it is cool, cool, cool. 16, about 16 minutes. But my confidence actually went too low when I was struggling with these two questions. Good array. I did it. Good array. But it took around 48 minutes. This one took 48 minutes independently, and it shouldn't have. This is bad. Okay. This shouldn't have happened. And in this, the current question that I did just now, in this, we are doing a simple formula to take average. Let's say I want to take average of these numbers A, B, C, D, E, F, E divided by the count, which is 5. But if these numbers are very big, I cannot just add them and then divide them by 5. Instead, let's say the maximum capacity my variable can have is addition of two numbers, two of these, or even three would be good. So then you can take average of these two, a plus b divided by 2. You'll get average, current average, avg would be equal to this thing. And then you want to take average of ab and c, and then you would add D to your average and also E, and at the end you would have the average of the whole thing. And how do you add a new number to your average? You know, the current count is 2. So you could say if you multiply your average by the current count, which is 2, you should get, theoretically speaking, this thing. Well, it doesn't it doesn't solve the problem if you cannot hold these things together. In Yeah, it does not solve that problem because essentially you are doing this thing. But yeah, here we had to use this formula because here we had to use this formula because we are taking average of a lot of numbers. So you can do average multiplied by the count plus the new number divided by count plus 1, which would be 3, and your average would be a new number. Then your average into 3 plus d divided by 4. This will be your new average. And then in the last step, you would take average into 4 plus e divided by 5, and you would have the average of the whole thing. And this is what I applied in this, and I fortunately got the right answer. Yeah, today I'm doing horrible. This is really bad. Updated. Simple strings, the last question from this part. Refresh and see. And I will go into problem solving mode, whatever that is. Right, problem solving mode. Let's go and solve another question. ZS coder problem solving mode. ACB, cool. ABCD, ABCD. Let's see. This works. Yo, question. Question is this one from. Mm, Okay. Question is this one from CB31 1300 rated. Last question. Simple strings. If I have to change the current one, if it is equal to the last one, then I see. Is this the last one? If it is the last one, then C is if the current one is not equal to A, I can put it equal to A. Otherwise, if it is equal to A, put it equal to B. But if I am at the last one, then I have to see the string that the character that I put is not equal to the character, is not equal minimum. Mm, This is minimum. No, maybe not. Minimum. Shit, okay, this is not a minimum. Yes. No, this should be a minimum. This should be minimum. If I am not at the last one, should this be minimum? Uh, because moving forward, I am making sure that okay, I'm only making a change when I need to make a change, right? First of all, that thing is cool. And second, when I need to make a change, I am making sure that I'm not making any change later and after, and the current change that I make is the best possible change that I could have made. And the current change that I make should not affect any other change, right? And I am making a change only when I must make a change. Yes. So why would I be getting a wrong answer? I cannot think of anything. I shouldn't be. Wrong answer. Simple strings, but the characters at position 1 and 2 are equal. What? 2. Okay. B, right? B. So this should have been C. Okay, battery of my phone is running low. My bad. My phone acts as my camera, which is very cool. Wizardry. It is gone. Okay. If I would like to change this B into something, into C. So this is not the last one, right? This is not the last one. So I will be here and I check if the last one is not equal to, if the current one, if it is equal to A, it is not equal to A. This will be true if it is not equal to A. And if the next one is also not equal to A, then A. But if the last one is not equal to A and the current next one is equal to A, then I can make the current one equal to B. But before doing that, I have to make sure that the last one is not equal. Okay, shit. Okay, yeah. I know that the last one is not equal to A, but it could be equal to B, right? So I would like to make this C. So all I have to check is SI would be equal to A if SI current value isn't equal to A and the next value AI plus 1 isn't equal to A, right? Right, makes sense. Else if the current value isn't equal to B and the next value isn't equal to B, then SI would be equal to B. And else if one of them is A and one of them is C, then SI would be equal to C. Makes sense. Makes so much sense. Yes, I cannot do this. Cool. Okay, so this was a implementation mistake. This should be corrected now. Fully. Yep, it is. Cool. 15 minutes. But I had to look at the thing, right? I had to look at the solution so I can write 20 minutes. 20 minutes would be fine. I had to look at not the solution, but the test case on which I got the wrong answer, which is bad. I cannot do that during contests. That is bad. And I have done most of the questions on this list except this graph one. Move and turn. For this, I will have to study. And divisible pairs. I do not remember which question. What is there in this question? Let's start solving all of these easier questions, which I was unable to solve earlier. For that, I have Polycarp has two favorite integers, x and y. They can be equal, and he has found an array A of length n. He has found an array A of length n. Polycarp considers a pair of indices this beautiful if A plus this is divisible by this and their subtraction is divisible by x, okay, and by y. I got time limit exceeded. Okay. Okay, I do remember this one. And I was unable to solve this. In the array, I have been given two integers, and from the array, I have to return indices I and j which satisfy this condition. The value at I plus the value at j has to be divisible by x, which means modulus of a of ai plus modulus of aj has to be divisible by x. Has to be divisible by x. Yep, has to be divisible by x, and for difference, their modulus has to be equal. Their modulus with y has to be equal to each other, so that when I subtract them from each other, they are divisible by y. Makes sense. Then, for example, so why was I not able to do this? Find the number of beautiful pairs in the array, not the pairs themselves, the number. Okay, so I have to take a set and an intersection of two things. I can store these at one place, and for every number where this condition is true, I have to check, is it also true for this? And yes, shit, that why was I unable to do this? I don't know. This is my earlier implementation, my attempt to solve this, but no, I will do it from scratch now. So what have I been given? N, X, and Y makes sense. And N, X, Y, C in N, not C N N, C N, X and Y, and I need two arrays, vector rmx, remainder mod X of size N, and mod Y of size N, same for, and also int C to capture the current value for int I equals 0, I less than n, and I plus plus. What would I like to do? Take in the current value and then mod x I equals C mod x, and mod y I equals C uh, mod y, and then I would like to sort this x so that I can figure things out faster. So vi ii size n, and ii dot begin, ii dot end, so that I can fill the ii vector with a lot of things with values from 0 till n minus 1, and then I can sort this with my own reference function int I comma int j, sort this on the basis of values n mod x I mod y mod xj, and then I would traverse through as I less than n, I plus plus, and then inside, right, shit, this might actually lead to time limit exceeded error. Let's say no mistake. I will not make this intent because this might overflow, which is bad. Or actually, maybe I should sort this on the basis of their x val. Okay, I can be very smart about the way that I'm sorting these. Right. If they are not equal, okay, if mod y I is not equal to mod y j, then return mod y I lower than mod y j, right? Cool. Otherwise, if they are equal, then internally sort them in descending order of their modulus with x. Makes makes sense. And internally I would see, wait, and since this is sorted, it is not actually sorted, it is ii that is sorted, and is my laptop is like going to die. Phone is charging, that is cool. Okay, and after this is done, I Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. So for int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and no, not this. Int L equals 0 and right also equals 0. I will be using two pointers to do this thing. While L lower than n, and now, okay, so L is pointing at the start of the y mod y array, and I need to see how much further can I go in mod y while mod r equal, not just simply it has to go through this buffer kind of thing through ii, while this equals ii left. I would like to do r plus plus. So r now after this statement does not point to the elements which are same in mod y. It is pointing to some other element. So inside this, from left included to right not included, I have to see how many numbers make the current pair with with x, because I know in this limit the numbers make correct pairs with y. Therefore, I have to see how many numbers fulfill this. Okay, and how do I see that? I can access, I can access. So for them to make sense, their addition, their addition. Okay, so int x l equals current left and int xr equals current r, and while xl lower than xr, while there are numbers in this range, r is not included, right? Lower than xr, I have to go, I have to move my left pointer as right as I can. 0. First, I have to skip all the zeros for this one. Yep. First, I have to skip all the zeros for this one. Okay, how do I skip all the zeros? While mod x for ii xl not. That is, it is not. I'll do xl plus plus while it is 0. So xl now currently does not point to 0. Therefore, the number of zeros would be xl minus l, because if there was 1 0, it would be incremented by 1 and so on. So, and how many pairs can I make with this? It would be, where is the answer variable? Answer initially is 0, and now answer plus equals xl minus l. That is the first number, and xl minus l into xl minus l minus 1, right? Cool. It's the best platform to practice recognized international recognized uh, for practice, I guess. Instead of looking for the best platform, you should simply practice. That is what I go for. And international recognized, okay. Answer plus equals xl minus this, right? Because for the first number in that pair, I have xl minus 1 choices, and for the second one, I would have one less choice. Now, when we are done with that, we would like to start this loop, and Now 0 is out of the way. Yep, 0 is out of the way. So while RR mod X II XL plus mod, first I will increment XL as much as I can, and then I will decrement XR as much as I can. II XR equals X, because if X is 8, then one of them has to be 1. If one is 1, then the other has to be 7, right? Because we are not dealing with zeros here. But this is not really good. And also XL lower than XR, right? XL lower than XR, lower than or equal to XR. Yeah. And also keep a current value. Current XL equals XL, and current XR equals XR, right? After this, in this turn, I would like to XR minus minus. Okay, while XL is lower than XR, C can I increment? So now XL is pointing to some value that is not, that I cannot pair with the current value of XR. And then this is bad. This is bad. Okay. I can change this though with this one. Right. Yes, cool. While this XR, decrement XR, now XR is also pointing to a value that I cannot pair up with XL. Yep. Now I need to see how much did they move, and I can pair all of these elements with all of these elements, and their product would be added to the answer. So answer plus equals, the left numbers would be how much XL moved, that would be XL minus current XL, multiply that by how much did XR moved, that would be current XR minus XR, because XR is getting decremented. And now hopefully these two point to a nice place. But what if none of them initially points to a right thing? Therefore nothing would be incremented, in which case before even beginning here I have to make sure that is the case. So I have to see if X mod X for XL plus mod X for, not XL and XR, mod X for II XL, II XL plus mod X for II XR. If it is greater than X, then I would like to, I should use a while loop. I should use a while loop. While it is greater than X, decrement XR minus minus, because I cannot pair this current XR with anything. And while it is smaller, decrement this, and also make sure that XL is lower than XR, and the same thing here. cool. And int initially they will not move. Okay, let's gamble. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Or it might never end. That is also one of the cases. Yep. Yes, because after this thing is done, yes, L is lower than N. After this thing is done, I can put L equals R and get a segmentation fault. I shouldn't be getting a segmentation fault, which is bad. Segmentation fault is bad. And yes, shit, my bad. I had this thing up. I am interacting if you want to. And 3 hours and in 9 minutes, I can go a bit longer. I want to at least solve this question, which seems very easy. It seems very easy. The sorted order should be cool. Yep, yep. Sorted order is pretty cool. Sorted order is cool. Yes, sorting part is correct. Then L and R answer initially 0. I think I'm doing much more than what is needed, and I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Okay, after sorting, I initialize my L and R equal to 0, and while L is lower than N, right? And answer is initially equal to 0, while current R equals to the current value of L in mod Y, since I will increment R, keep incrementing R, and R has to be less than N. Why am I? Yes, R has to be less than N. Yes, incrementing R makes sense. Okay, that was the thing that I was being like silly with. Okay, then while now I'm incrementing XL. Okay, X for L, and in that, if it is 0, okay, I'm getting rid of the zeros. Mod X for current L, increment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this is cool, this is cool. And then this what? I know that XL and XR are not equal to 0. That is cool. And then while XL lower than XR, mod X increment mod X while their sum is greater than X, and while their sum is lower than X, increment XL, because that is the only way that I can do this. And always make sure that XL is lower than XR, because XR is not included and XL is included. Therefore, therefore, I have to change this. I have to change this. This has to be -1. -1 is cool, so that I can at least index this thing. And XR. No, yeah, cool, 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 cool. Yep, keep going forward. XR will keep moving back. XL will keep moving forward. Right, and let's see, and okay, segmentation fault. Why XL lower? Where am I getting segmentation fault? I think code till this point is correct. Till here, it is correct. I have to see after that, while XL is lower than XR and mod X in the sorted order, XL, I am incrementing XL while it is correct for the current XR, and it should be correct for the current XR. if it is equal to x, and after this thing is done, Excel should be pointing to some place which cannot be paired up with the current XR. Makes sense. And do the same thing with XR and increment the answer, which is cool. Which is cool. This should work. Answer, let's see, blank plus plus. And thing is D, divisible pairs. Divisible pairs out, not slash out, for one of the test cases, which we can take the small one of the smaller ones. No one is smaller. This one is the only smallest. Yeah. Shit. Okay. One test case which has this much stuff. Answer turns out to be 122. Okay. Yes. Yes. It is not the correct answer. Therefore, should be 2. Which it is. Which it is. 2 is correct. Blank. Compile once more, and I will copy paste this thing. Flush out, and okay, not really cool. Okay, at some point, I had an answer equal to 30, which should not be an answer at any point. Well, let's test each of these cases individually and see where the error is exactly. Compile. There is no need to compile, but anyways, I have only one test case. The second one, 7, 9, 9, 5, 1, 10, 15, 3, 8, 12, 15, 0. 0 is correct. And next one, 1 and 9, 4, 10. Okay, 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11, 11, 13, 5, 6. 0 is on correct. Here, 0 is wrong. Let's see. One test case, 9, 4, 10. Okay, then 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11, 13, 5, 6. 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11, 13, 5, 6. 0 is not the correct answer actually. 0 is wrong. Okay, so shit. Earlier, at least I was getting the right answer. Now, even that is not the case. Well, so sometimes it is like this. Like, you cannot even solve a single question. Not even an easy one. Okay. But the thing is to just stick around. While n is lower. Okay, I am getting the wrong answer in this case. Why is that happening? Mod y. Okay, let's iterate for int I equals 0, I less than n I plus plus, and I would output, yeah, I would output C out this thing, and after this, mod X I space mod y, mod y for the current one, and yes, and then the closing bracket and new, yeah, new space is fine. New line is fine. One test case, 9, 4, 10 are the things, and then 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 13, 5, 6. Hmm. Hmm. It does not output anything. Shit, that is crazy. Divisible pairs, divisible pairs, out, dot slash out, run the program. I have only one test case, and which is 1, 4, 10, and then, okay, I only gave 1, 11. Okay, makes sense. 11, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11, 13, 5, 6. This is how I grouped them. 2 and 0. Okay, and here I have one element, and since y equals 10, so therefore y equals 10, but x equals 4, which should not be divisible by this. But here answer should be 1 because of this. Wait, first I would like to output y mod y. Replace with x. First I would output mod y, and then something else, 1, 9, 4, 10, and then 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 13, 5, 6. Okay, I skipped another 11, my bad. 1, 9, 4, 10, 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11, 13, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, so nothing for this one. Nothing for this one. Then for this, makes sense. Shit, makes sense. Makes so much sense. This plus this, mod x has to be equal to 0. This plus this, mod x has to be equal to 0, and the same thing goes here. Instead of this, take mod x, and to check that it is 0, I take a not, and this is very, very cryptic. More cryptic than it has to be 1, 9, 4, 10, and 14, 10, 2, 2, 11, 11 twice, 13, 5, 6, 0. And the program as intended, right? Let's make a new graph. Shit. It doesn't work. Es funktioniert nicht. And I think I can take a walk now. My laptop is also going to die, in just a bit. My laptop is literally going to die. Right. So I guess today is one of those bad days when you cannot solve any questions. And today that is for me, and I can take a walk. And after taking a walk, I will get back to this and I will solve these questions. You cannot see the screen right now. I will solve these questions and I will come back at it. I will not stop. And this would be the end of the stream. And thank you for being here.